Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our General Council meeting, the 20th of May, 2026. So we're about to record. Everyone that's present, please, Marnie. And of course, this morning, we welcome our new councillor, Councillor Amanda Phillott. Thank you and welcome to Central Highlands Regional Council. Thank you. Do we have any apologies at all for today? Nil apologies. Any leaves of absence, councillors? Oh, we're all good. Okie dokie. Moving on now to our acknowledgement of country. I wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we work and live and recognise their continuing connection to land, water and community. We pay our respects to elders past and present. Thank you. And now I have the privilege of handing over for our opening prayer to Pastor Rod McLennan from the Presbyterian Church. So thank you and welcome, Pastor Rod.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Congratulations, Councillor Phillott. I thought, hey, look, we've all been under the microscope a little bit lately. Well, I mean, I speak on behalf of you all. So I thought instead of being even remotely topical, I'd lean into something ancient and universal and simply lead us in the Lord's Prayer, something that most of you will be at least somewhat familiar with. The story goes in the Bible that one of the many noteworthy things about Jesus alongside his miracles, his teachings, etc., was that he often retired to pray. He would go AWOL and almost disappear, and people would wonder where he was. After a while, this raised questions for his disciples, and so they said to him, when you pray, what do you say? What should we be saying? And that's the context in which he taught that famous Lord's Prayer. He said, when you pray, say, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, etc. I just wanted to walk through a couple of lines of that and then to simply pray it. And just that first line, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, there's nothing particularly surprising about hallowed be your name except that it's ancient language, but it's simply to revere God as holy. It's an expression of worship and adoration, an expression of praise. But to call God Father was an innovation from Jesus. That was a brand new thing at that point. If it's true that Jesus is the unique, eternal Son of God, then it would make sense well enough for him to call God Father when he prays, but for him to instruct others to also call God Father, to even invite us to call God our own Father in prayer is a special invitation. It's not just worship, it's family. He goes on to say, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's a prayer for our world to be governed by things like love and justice, so that forces of good would push back against the forces of evil. I teach my children the Lord's Prayer. If we manage to pull it off to be having breakfast at the same time in the morning, I like to say it in the morning, but sometimes we say it in the evening, and they're little, so they get tangled up in the next little bit. So I try to teach them to break it down to give, forgive, forgive. Give us each day our daily bread. Forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. And those last two go together. We ask for our own forgiveness to the same measure that we are willing to forgive others. I was with our girls at a funeral a couple of years ago for an old lady in her 90s, and they said the Lord's Prayer. And you might have noticed, I use more modern language, forgive us our sins. They started saying the Lord's Prayer in the funeral service, and my little girl, who was about 3, looked up at me with recognition and excited because, we know this one. And then they said, forgive us our trespasses. And my 3-year-old daughter cried out, what the heck? Because she'd never heard the word trespasses before. But the Bible uses different words. Trespass, which means like a crossing over of a boundary. Sin is a more general term. Sometimes it's debts. Forgive us our debts because we owe, through our wrongdoing, a debt to God that actually we could never pay for ourselves, and we depend on him for his grace and forgiveness. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And then for the kingdom, the power and the glory are yours. So I'm just going to pray that, and if you're familiar with the words, you'd be welcome to join in. Otherwise, just to say amen with me at the end. And all the best with your meeting and everything today. Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power and the glory are yours forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pastor Rod, for your beautiful prayers over us today. Thank you very much.
Sure. You have a good day.
Thank you. We will. Thank you. Very good. Okay, councillors, moving on to our next agenda item, number 5, which is confirmation of minutes of previous meetings. So we have 2 meeting minutes to move and second. So the first is minutes from our General Council meeting on the 22nd of April 2026. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Burns, seconder Councillor Hindmarsh. All those in favour? Thank you. Carried. And then we have our minutes from Special General Council meeting on the 11th of May 2026. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Donaldson, seconder Councillor Wilkins. All those in favour? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Any business arising out of the minutes from the 22nd of April 2026, councillors? Nil? Any business arising from our special meeting the 11th of May, councillors? Nil? Thank you very much. Moving on to item 7, a review of outstanding meeting actions. If councillors want to have a look at those, if they've got any comments or questions. No. I think we're safe now to move on to item number 8, deputations. Mr. Acting CEO, do we have any deputations today? No. Nil. And 9, Merrill minute. So nil Merrill minutes today. 10, any conflicts of interest, councillors? No. And again, a reminder that even though you mightn't realise at the time, but as we go through our discussions, if you have a conflict of interest, just let us know. Thank you. Petitions, number 11. Mr. Acting CEO, any petitions tabled? Oh, thank you. So now we move to our section 12, decision action reports. Very good. Moving to item 12.1.1, proposed community benefit agreement in brackets renewables policy. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Wilkins. A seconder? Councillor Newman. Very good. And I hand over now to Acting Director, Communities, Kirsten Byrne. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Mayor and Councillors, and welcome to the team, Councillor Follott. This is one of many exciting reports we have this morning to kick off the General Council meeting with the Community Benefit Agreement Renewables Policy proposed for adoption today. I'll take the report and associated policy as read, though I thought it might be prudent to touch on some of the high points. Following a change in legislation on the 30th of June last year, proponents such as wind farms, solar farms over a specific size and battery storage facilities must engage both with the community and local government prior to lodging a development application. A social impact assessment is required to be undertaken to address social impacts and subsequently provide community benefits. This one has been some time in development, has been workshopped with councillors on a number of occasions in the past 2 months, with a particular focus on how the funding should be shared. The current draft policy proposes that funding contributions be directed broadly as follows. 60 to 90% of all funding contributions should be allocated to council legacy infrastructure for critical community infrastructure, such as roads or water infrastructure. 5 to 10% of total funding contributions should be allocated to community sponsorships to support grassroots initiatives such as local community groups, sporting clubs and not-for-profit organisations. And 5 to 30% of the total funding contributions should be allocated to community legacy infrastructure and initiatives such as supplying affordable housing and providing access to education, medical services and workforce development. An important feature of the policy is its flexibility. It allows communities to suggest projects through the social impact assessment process and other channels so that they can help shape what is funded. The policy is intended to be the first step. Further work will include developing practical guidelines for proponents, informed by community consultation so that different community needs and priorities are properly recognised. And it's timely that we've got this policy today as we're currently dealing with 2 proponents with 2 more on the way. So it's a great time to get a policy in motion. So I'll take the report as read, but if there's any questions, happy to help.
Good, thank you very much. Over to Councillor Wilkins for speak on behalf of the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I totally agree with this. I think it's a great idea. I like the idea that community will be involved in having some legacy projects. Also, this is an annual charge. Is that what you? Yeah. And so, over the years, you might have a project that might take a few years to develop in the community. And so I think this is a great idea. It's to be noted that it will only go to the communities that are directly impacted by the wind farms or the solar farms. I think it's a great idea. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Councillor Wilkins. Councillors, any questions or comments? Councillor Donaldson.
Through the chair, even though I don't really agree with large-scale renewables, I think it's important that the council, within the Central Islands Regional Council area, make the most of the situations that we're put in. That's all my comment. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Councillor Donaldson. Councillor Cruz.
Through the chair, I guess on the back of what Councillor Wilkins said, is that the localities that would be most affected would be identified in that social impact assessment, and obviously council will be really cognisant of that fact. And I think one of the most important parts of this policy is legacy, in that is what we're aiming for, whether it be a council infrastructure, whether it be community infrastructure. It's about legacy and having that impact for a number of years, or positive impact for a number of years. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Councillor. Any other comments? I think before we go back to Councillor Wilkins, I just think that, this is a very considered policy to ensure that renewable companies now have a clear policy position from council, which allows everyone to work together and ensure that we're working together to deliver priorities for the communities that are in the footprint identified for those projects. So thank you. If there's no other comments or questions, Councillor, I'll hand back over to Councillor Wilkins.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. And just further to what has been said, so even though some areas, might be landholders who are affected, it's the nearest township that will actually get the benefit. Is that correct? Yes. Yep. Yep. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Okay. I'll just read out the resolution, which is that the Central Highlands Regional Council adopts the proposed Community Development Agreement Policy renewables with effect from the date of Council resolution. We have a mover and a seconder, so all those in favour? Thank you. Right, Marnie. Those against, nil. Motion carried. Thank you very much, and thank you to all the staff for your hard work. Thank you. Moving on now to item 12.1.2, Economic Stimulus Application, ESP 2026 R507, Central Development Corporation. And can I have a mover, please, councillors? Councillor Newman, second to Councillor Whiteman. Thank you. I'll hand over now to our Acting Director Communities, Kirsten Byrne. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Moriarty. This application before us seeks a rebate under Council's Economic Stimulus Policy, Stream 4 Fees and Charges, for the approved development under DA 25-2025, material change of use for short-term accommodation and a boundary realignment at 4 Opal Street, Emerald, within the Principal Centre Zone. I note that today this report is discussing the economic stimulus policy and how the application has demonstrated compliance with the relevant sections of the policy, and we will not be revisiting the development approval. The approved development comprises of 40 accommodation units, including 36 two-bedroom units, 3 one-bedroom units, and a manager's residence. Associated on-site infrastructure includes car parking for 40 spaces, internal access, community facilities, and servicing. The application has met the relevant eligibility criteria under the policy level of investments with $14.2 million, which is significantly exceeds the minimum threshold of $250,000 in the policy, and represents a major contribution to the local economy through construction activity and associated supply chains. The applicant has estimated that the proposal will generate 10 to 120 total FTEs during construction and operational phases, including direct and indirect jobs. I'll take the report as read, but if there's any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you very much. Councillor Newman.
Through the chair. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am, excuse me, I am in full support of this application. We know there's an increased demand for housing right across the region, and this material change of use is a sensible change to the original application for development. So I look forward to seeing increased housing available across the region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Whiteman.
Through the chair, I note that these are mostly two-bedroom units, which is nice. But we are talking about the rebate, and I support it. I will just as a comment, I love the artist's impression on these development applications. I especially love that we're looking east out of Emerald, and there's the mountains in the background. I'm waiting for the full snow-capped peaks one time, you know, like. But no, I'm in support of this.
Thank you very much. Councillor Wilkins.
Sorry, I am not in support of it for a couple of reasons. Well, actually, a few reasons. The land use was defined as for childcare centres, community care centres, nature-based tourism, tourist park. It's none of those. Also, the total car spaces required is 44, and they're only providing 40. It's also on a corner, which I think at some point there is consideration of changing, having the crossing, like it's such a busy intersection, and having 40 more vehicles, although the 40 will be off parked in the site. There's provision for 75 residents, so I would question where the other 35 parking goes. So I know this is why I'm saying I'm not voting for it, because I don't believe that it is for the benefit for the community, and it's just going to add so much traffic to that intersection, so I will not be voting for it.
Thank you, councillor. Thank you. Just a reminder that we're here to evaluate the application. Again, thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, through the Mayor, I was just going to emphasise that this is under Stream 4, which is the stream which supports short-term accommodation. Childcare is envisaged under Stream 5, and this property is zoned within the principal centre zone, which does support this type of use. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Through the chair, the reference to childcare, community care centre, nature-based tourism, tourist park, that allows a applicant to reach additional funding, so 100%, a higher percentage up to a cap of 125,000 if they are one of those land uses. But if they are not one of those land uses, the other capping applies, which would be the 75,000.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Burns.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just comment, really. I think this is good. Yeah, people have been long-term in Emerald. Remember the old caravan park there, so I think it's been a while since that place has been had anyone there. So no, I think it's good. We're finally filling up some of these large blocks and so close to town. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And 3 stories, a high rise for Emerald. Thank you. Okay, councillors, any other comments or questions? Okay, for closing comments, Councillor Newman.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll read out the resolution that the Central Highlands Regional Council, 1, approves the Economic Stimulus Policy Application ESP 2026 R507 associated with DA025 2025 Development Permit for Material Change of Use Short-Term Accommodation in brackets 36 by 2 bedroom units, 3 by 1 bedroom units, and managers' residence, close brackets, at 4 Opal Street, Emerald, for a total refund of $75,833 in brackets as at 26 financial year, comprising 100% rebate of assessment fees and 50% infrastructure charges in brackets up to a cap of $75,000, close brackets, and a development compliance certificate at a cost of $833. And 2, requires that the applicant must claim the payment by the 20th of May 2029. So we have a mover and a seconder. So all those in favour? Those against? Thank you. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Moving on now to item 12.1.3, Economic Stimulus Application, ESP 2026 R508, Walnut Projects Proprietary Limited. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Wilkins. Seconder? Councillor Donaldson. Thank you very much. Handing over now to our Acting Director Communities. Again, Kirsten Byrne, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Moriarty. This application before us this morning seeks a rebate under the Economic Stimulus Policy for an approved development permit for reconfiguring a lot, 1 into 5 lots in stage subdivision, lodged by Walnut Projects Proprietary Limited, associated with land located at 12 Crineham Street, Capella. I note that today the report is discussing the economic stimulus policy and how the application has demonstrated compliance with the relevant sections of the policy and will not be revisiting the development approval. So the approved development facilitates the subdivision of a 4,062 square metre parcel into 5 residential lots within an established urban area. The subdivision is proposed to occur in stages to allow flexibility in delivery, with each lot designed to exceed minimum lot size and frontage requirements and to be serviced by existing infrastructure, including water, sewer, stormwater, electricity and telecommunications. This proposal aligns with the objectives of Stream 4 by enabling private sector investment in residential land, reducing upfront development costs, and supporting the timely delivery of additional housing supply. The incentive is likely to assist in progressing the subdivision within a shorter time frame, delivering economic and community benefits in accordance with the intent of the policy. I'll take the report as read, but if there's any questions, happy to help.
Very good, thank you. Handing over to Councillor Wilkins first.
Thank you. Just to say, I don't disapprove of everything. I think this is a great idea. I think these are good sized blocks. Well done.
Thank you very much. Councillors, any questions or comments? Very good. Thank you very much. So we haven't got any questions or comments. So back to you, Councillor Wilkins.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No further comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll read out the resolution. That the Central Highlands Regional Council, 1, approves the Economic Stimulus Policy Application ESP 2026 R508 associated with DA 055 2025 development permit for reconfiguring a lot, in brackets, 1 lot into 5 lots, staged subdivision, close brackets, at 12 Crineham Street, Capella, for a total refund of $25,833, in brackets, as at 2025-26 financial year, close brackets, comprising 100% rebate of assessment fees, close brackets, up to a cap of 25,000, close brackets, and 50% of infrastructure charges, in brackets, subject to the applicable cap, close brackets, and a development compliance certificate at a cost of $833, and 2, require the applicant must complete all stages of the approval and claim the payment by the 20th of May 2029. So we have a mover and a seconder, so those in favour? All in favour? Thank you very much. Motion carried. Thank you, councillors. Moving on now to item 12.1.4, 10-year planning scheme review. So can I have a mover, please? Councillor Whiteman, a seconder? Councillor Newman, thank you very much. And again, over to our Acting Director Communities, Kirsten Byrne, to take us through this item, please.
Lovely. Thank you, Mayor Moriarty. The report before you this morning is the culmination of a very exciting project that's been running in the background for some 18 months, since late 2024, involving key stakeholders and community engagement. This one has been workshopped with councillors to provide an outcome of the review ahead of today's meeting. I'll take the report as read, but I thought I might touch on a couple of the high points of the report. So, Section 25 of the Planning Act requires local governments to review their planning scheme within 10 years of it being made or last reviewed, even if amendments have been made along the way. Our planning scheme was adopted on the 24th of February 2016, so the first 10-year review was due this year. Council has been in liaison with the state throughout our process. With the state throughout this process. So I note this review is also a deliverable of our 2025-26 operational plan. In summary, the review found that the planning scheme is still working well and continues to meet its core purpose. However, a staged program of targeted amendments is needed to respond to legislative changes, strategic priorities, population and industry trends, and lessons from how the scheme has operated over time. The Act also requires Council to decide whether to keep the current scheme, amend it, or prepare a new one. The report and officer recommendation today is to amend the planning scheme, which will satisfy Council's statutory obligations for the 10-year review. If Council resolve to amend the existing planning scheme, the recommendations in Chapter 9 of the report would help Council to build better plan for housing, services and infrastructure, support new industries and jobs, protect valued natural and scenic environments, make development assessment clearer and more consistent, keep local planning rules aligned with state legislation and policy, and reflect the community's values in the Central Highlands 2043 community vision. The review recommendations will help guide and prioritise future amendment work by the Strategic Land Use team, while still allowing other emerging issues to be considered along the way. Importantly, there are no immediate changes to the development assessment framework, and any future amendments will be drafted, publicly notified and brought back to councillors for further input. Along the way, councillors will also have opportunities through workshops to raise matters for future consideration, and some stakeholder consultation may occur before formal consultation begins with focus groups. Thank you, councillors. If there's any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
Very good. Over to Councillor Whiteman first.
Thank you. Through the chair, I note that our council term has been a term of predictability and consistency, and I feel that keeping this planning scheme as it currently is delivers that for residents of the Central Highlands. Obviously, as we move forward, there are updates, and we've been very proactive with updating parts of the planning scheme as they've required it, keeping the scheme relevant, but I certainly see no reason to start afresh, so I'll be voting for this.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Whiteman. Councillor Newman.
Through the chair, I am in support of this amendment situation. The Central Highlands Planning Scheme is one of the most essential strategic directional documents for regional development, community planning, economic development and master planning for the future of the Central Highlands. So I think it is a wonderful review that you have completed, and I am fully in support of it.
Very good. Councillor Wilkins.
Thank you. Just to allay your fears, I'm totally in support of the amendment. I just was wondering though, I don't know whether I missed the boat, but towards the middling of end of last year, I was asking whether we as councillors can have a say in some of the amendments. So to avoid, for me, the huge high density DAs that have been put through. So is that something that still we can do, or is that you're just doing the amendments and then that's it?
Through the Mayor. Great question, Councillor Wilkins. So our elected members have full approval of the scheme amendments as they're going through the process. So we intend to do workshops with councillors to figure out the appropriate amendment schedule that we'll be working on, and to have your input and say as part of the draft amendments as they go through. So typically that will look like an amendment schedule might be put forward in draft as to what we want to do, which amendments we want to do and what we're going to contain within them. Mm-hmm. We would then workshop with councillors to see if there's anything else that we need to insert as part of those amendments, see if there's any feedback on other matters, and then as part of a council resolution prior to sending it to the state for the first state interest check, we need council resolution to undertake that. Mm-hmm. So the final say is with the councillors for us to take any of these steps.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Councillor Cruz.
Through the chair, I guess it's really important just to, reiterate the fact that the report says that our current planning scheme is fit for purpose and that those amendments allow council to be reactive to things as they come along, and that the processing time for those amendments is a far less time than doing a whole new planning scheme, which still allows council to be reactive and to the needs as they move forward. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Just a comment there. Again, you know, we have as the councillors have referred to, and staff, that we had the option of retaining, amending or creating a new planning scheme. And of course, as you've put in the report, it took 6 years to do the first planning scheme, which if you're going to be doing a new planning scheme does take a long time. But as councillors have said, it's fit for purpose, and the recommendation is there that we basically retain and go and use the amendment option. And with the amendments, there's already a list there of 82 in the report. So we have been collecting those amendments as we've been going through, and congratulations to the staff. And as you quite rightly say, as we go forward, there will be more consultation. And I think that it might also be prudent to mention that while this is the Central Highlands region planning scheme, we've also been going through the process of the revocation of the 2 PDAs for Blackwater. So hopefully, by the time the amendments are going through and we're reaching that finalisation, that the PDAs from Blackwater will form part of our holistic planning scheme. So thank you very much. Councillor Whiteman, if there's no other comments or questions.
No, I have nothing further.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Now that we have a mover and seconder, I'll read out the recommendation. That Central Highlands Regional Council 1 adopts the 10-year planning scheme review report, which is attached, and 2, resolves to amend the Central Highlands Regional Council Planning Scheme 2016, in brackets, amendment number 7, close brackets, via a series of targeted planning scheme amendments. We have our mover and seconder, so all those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Thank you for all your hard work. That's big, that one. Yep. Very good. Moving now to item 12.1.5, Regional Arts Development Fund, or RADF, Round 3, 2025-26 Assessment Panel Meeting, 8th of May 2026. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Wilkins, seconder. Councillor Burns. I'll hand over now to our Director for Communities, thank you, Carolyn Knutson, to lead us through this report, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through the Chair, good morning, councillors. The purpose of this report is to present the minutes of the RADF assessment meeting held on the 8th of May and outline the recommendations of the committee of round 3 to council for consideration. As the Mayor mentioned, the Regional Arts Development Fund is a RADF fund, and that fund is in a partnership with Arts Queensland as well as council. The program aims to invest in quality arts, cultural and heritage experiences in regional Queensland. Through the program, we offer 3 rounds. Council offers 3 rounds to the community. So round 1, 2 and 3, and this is round 3 of the program for this financial year. The program budget is a total of $70,000 for 25-26, with round 1 endorsing 4 applications and round 2 endorsing another 4 applications. The funds that have been approved previously in this financial year for round 1 was $23,333 was reserved, with $8,652.30 endorsed by council. For round 2, $23,333 was reserved, plus a $14,680.70 of unspent funds from round 1, with a total amount endorsed by council of $30,458.31, leaving for round 3 in total the council to approve the report today as recommending $36,559.43 for the Mountain Magic Arts Inc. 2026 Mountain Magic Creative Muster for $22,759.43, the Emily Garth Community Choir Vocal Group for $2,700, and the Ben Robertson Projector in the Park for $2,100, and for a council-initiated project of Fridays in the Forecourt around the region for $4,000, and a council-initiated project involving the Queensland Ballet for $5,000. I now hand back to the Mayor.
Very good. Thank you very, very much. Councillor Wilkins.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is the part of my job I love. So all of these events go under scrutiny and assessment, for their reach, they're going to all the communities, their viability, and, the impact on the community and stuff like that. So a lot of consideration does go into, how much is recommended. So with the Mountain Magic Arts, it's an event that happens annually, and even though part of the RADF is that we don't necessarily give to the same group each year, this group has been doing different acts, different things each year, and they're generally always booked out, so it's an amazing event. Emily Garth, she's a new resident of Emerald, and she's actually an opera singer. And, she's been here 5 minutes, and she's already wanting to start this community choir, specifically over the Art Attack time, which is from the 1st of July to the 30th of September. So I think she's doing weekly singing groups and eventually end up with a performance at the end of that time. And Ben Robertson, former member of CHRC, is projecting images on a cube in the Botanical Gardens. So that'll be quite interesting. And then the council-initiated project, Fridays in the Forecourt. Last Art Attack was 3 events on the forecourt here at the council building. But this year we're trying to do Emerald, Blackwater, Capella and Springshaw. So an event in each township, just to spread that around. And then finally the Queensland Ballet, again, have been called back. And they just do amazing workshops. So this is, I think they're well deserved, and I think we'd like to probably have more money for RADF next year.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Councillor Newman.
Thank you, Mayor Moriarty. I was unable to attend this latest CHRC meeting, but it's wonderful to see that the RADF was oversubscribed this time, and I wish all those successful applicants well with their projects.
Very good. Thank you very much. Councillor Cruz.
Through the chair, I've just asking a couple of questions about the ineligible application for the Springshaw Agricultural Society with the show pavilion. It just says here it was for display upgrades to improve accessibility, presentation and participation. Just like a little bit more information, because it said it was ineligible because there was no clear explanation on how these upgrades would remain available to the local community following the project. Is that something that, if that organisation were to provide more explanation, that they would be able to revisit that application in a future round? Because I just note that in another one that was, they were encouraged, the Emerald Show Society were encouraged to consider reapplying for theirs. It didn't note that on that Springshore one. I was just wondering if that was the same situation.
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Cruz. Over to
So,
Carolyn.
Thank you. Through the chair, I wasn't in attendance at the meeting and I've only got the minutes that's before me to inform any response. So I'll take that question on notice unless the Councillor Wilkins, who was present at the meeting, would like to articulate further, but I'll certainly take that question on notice to provide a full answer back to Council.
Thank you. Councillor Newman.
Through the chair, I might just offer a little bit of feedback on that. With preference with the RADF program, it usually goes to arts or cultural activities rather than structural, and I think that may have been the case. It actually sounds like either a great application for work camp or for community grants from the Show Society.
Very good. Thank you. Councillor Donaldson.
Through the chair, thank you, Madam Mayor. Would it be possible to get more information on the Mountain Magic Arts? Because that's a lot of money in my books to go to one. I just wanting more information on what they do to,
So thank you, Councillor Donaldson. Through the chair, I certainly can take that question on notice and provide some more information. The committee goes through a rigorous assessment process based on the guidelines that are adopted by council under the RFD, under the RADF program, and so therefore there's a clear body of documentation that informs the decision or the recommendation by the committee for council's decision, and certainly can rely upon that to inform a response back to council.
thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Councillor Wilkins.
So just in answer to a few of those concerns, so the Mountain Magic Creative Muster, they requested the 34,500, but they only receiving 22,700. So last year they were granted $20,000, and we did feel that the 34 was, that was like almost 50% on top. Sorry, 30% on top. So we only gave an increase of $2,700. A lot of the expense is for what do you call it? People who come across. Sorry. Yeah, or the ones who run the workshops, the facilitators. Yep. So a lot of them is for facilitators, and it's different workshops each year. So, and then with the increased cost of everything, so they were asking for a lot more, but they're only getting the 22. What was the other question about the? Oh yeah, so what Councillor Newman said about the Springshore were asking for structural stuff like renovations essentially, whereas Emerald Show Society were asking for I think it was 3 like kangaroos, white kangaroos, which people then go into a competition to put some sort of design on them, and so it was, and it's not due. They wanted it for the show for next year, so we felt it was a bit early, to grant the money. This was the 3rd round. And so we advise that they apply for the next financial year's round 1 or 2 or whatever it is, because it's not for this show but for next show. And also it's only 3 kangaroos for Emerald. It's not like, a kangaroo in each township or something like that. Yeah. So that was what the application, that's why they didn't succeed.
Thank you.
Any further questions on that or?
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Very good. Councillor Wilkins, back to you. Thank you.
I think I've said enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, no further questions. We have a mover and a seconder, so I'll read out the recommendation. That the Central Highlands Regional Council, 1, receives the minutes of the Regional Arts Development Fund assessment meeting on 8th of May 2026, and 2, approves $36,559.43 for the following Regional Arts Development Fund Round 3 applications for the 2025-26 financial year, as per the Central Highlands Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee's recommendations, and the 5 projects or applications are listed there. So, all those in favour? Unanimous, thank you very much. Motion carried, and again, congratulations to all those successful applicants. Thank you very much. Very good. Moving on now to our area of 12.2, corporate services. So the item is 12.2.1, monthly financial report, monthly financial report, April 2026. Mover, Councillor Whiteman, and seconder, Councillor Hindmarsh. Thank you. Over to our Manager of Finance, Helen Kirby, to take us through this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and good morning, councillors. This report outlines Council's financial performance for the period ended 30th of April 2026. The April year-to-date results are measured against Budget Review 2, which is currently Council's adopted budget. Budget Review 3 will be considered next in today's meeting agenda, and if adopted, will be the benchmark for the May and June reporting periods. As at the end of April, Council's financial position remains strong, with a year-to-date operating surplus of $44.3 million, which is ahead of budget. Operating expenses are below budget, primarily due to timing and phasing of the budget. Operating revenue is generally in line with budget. Capital delivery is currently at 47% of the program, increasing to 88% when commitments are included. In addition, Council maintains a strong cash position of $146 million, with a portion of this cash legally and externally restricted for specific purposes, such as grants for capital projects that are currently unspent, special rates, and also developer infrastructure charges. The remaining cash is internally restricted and committed to supporting day-to-day operations, funding approved capital works that have not yet been delivered, and meeting future asset renewal requirements. Other key highlights at the April year-to-date mark include debt reducing to $19.8 million, rates and water arrears decreasing by just under $1 million, which is a very positive outcome, and both rates and water charges have improved month on month. And total arrears at the end of April stands at $10.5 million. Council continues to actively manage arrears through payment arrangements with over 370 active plans in place, and ongoing recovery processes, including the current statutory sale of land process. All key financial sustainability ratios remain within the targets set by the Department of Local Government, with the exception of the asset sustainability ratio, due to the composition of this year's capital program, which has a greater focus on new and upgrade projects rather than asset renewals. In closing, the recommendation is that Council adopts a monthly finance report for the period ended 30th of April 2026. Thank you, and happy to take questions.
Good, thank you very much, Manager. Over to Councillor Whiteman. Thank you.
No, another good result for us. Yeah, thank you to everybody involved.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Any other comments or questions, councillors? Councillor Wilkins.
Just an easy one. So I noticed that the term deposit in the Capricornian is yielding a higher interest rate than the QTC, is that correct? This is on page 291, if that helps.
Just through the chair, just slightly at the moment. So we actually locked that rate in for a 12-month period. So that will be coming up for renewal. So we'll look at that rate again. So we do tend to get a higher rate, you know, if we lock it in for that longer term.
So, okay, I just thought the QTC was generally over 5% sort of thing for us, so it's not...
That rate that's quoted there is after fees, but that's still quite a competitive rate. And remember, those funds are at call as well, so we are drawing on those funds on a regular basis.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, councillors. And I just wanted, Councillor Newman. No, you're right. I just wanted to again thank you, the team, for being very transparent. We have a very transparent monthly reports, financial reports, and continuing to include more and more information that the councillors have requested, and particularly item 10, procurement activities, on page 295 of the agenda. Thank you very much for making it open, listing all the tenders that were issued through the period of this last month. So thank you, and continuing to be able to track our local spend and external spend, so which we try to do as much as possible, support our local businesses. So thank you very much. In closing, if there's no other comments or questions, councillors, over to you, Councillor Whiteman.
Thank you. Again, it's a good result. I think it's important at this stage to draw people's attention to just how good this result is. There's some confusion out there about where we are as a council, and I've just done a bit of a deep dive back into the 22-23 long-term financial budget, the long-term financial plan. It's interesting to compare them to where we are today. In 22-23, the prediction for today was that we would have $105 million worth of debt, and today we have 19.9. In 22-23, the prediction for today was that we would have $70 million worth of cash and cash reserves, and today we have 146 million. The other thing to note is that there were significant rates increases in that long-term financial plan from back then that haven't eventuated as well. So I think that it's really important to, in a public setting like this, to talk to the community about just how financially responsible this council's been, and just how wonderful the department has given us the opportunity to look after the community's funds anyway. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Whiteman. Thank you. Very good. So we have a mover and seconder. So I'll read out the recommendation that Central Highlands Regional Council adopts the monthly financial report for the period ended 30th of April 2026. So all those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion carried. And again, thank you very much for all the hard work putting it together. And we now move on to item 12.2.2, our 2025-26 Budget Review 3. So can I have a mover, please? Councillor Wilkins, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Newman. And handing back over to, handing back over to yourself. Manager of Finance, Helen Kirby. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report presents the outcomes of Budget Review 3 and seeks Council's approval to adopt the proposed amendments. This is the third and final review of the current financial year's budget. As you are aware, Council typically undertakes 3 reviews each financial year to ensure the budget remains aligned with actual performance, project delivery timeframes, and financial sustainability requirements. It is important to note that budget amendments during the financial year cannot change general rates and utility charges, which are only set at the annual budget meeting. Overall, Budget Review 3 reflects a net minor change to the operating result and a refinement of the capital program. The proposed operating surplus at BR3 is 9.03 million, a decrease of 382,000 from Budget Review 2. This reflects increases in both revenue and expenditure, with operating expenditure increasing slightly more than revenue. Council continues to achieve an operating surplus ratio of just over 4%, exceeding both the Department of Local Government's minimum target of above 0% and Council's finance strategy target of at least 3%, demonstrating ongoing financial sustainability. The total expenditure budget, excluding depreciation, has decreased by 10.3 million to 249 million. This represents the full cost of Council's operating activities, debt reduction or debt repayments, and capital works requiring funding in the current financial year. This reduction primarily reflects the changes to the capital program. The capital works program at BR3 has been reduced by 12.3 million to 67.7 million. This is due to the reforecasting of projects valued at approximately 12.8 million into next financial year. This will ensure the delivery of the capital program remains realistic within the remaining months of the financial year. In line with this, capital grant funding has also been reduced by 7.7 million, with funding deferred to future periods to align with the project delivery. Council's financial position continues to strengthen, with cash holdings forecast to increase to 118.3 million at the end of the financial year under BR3, primarily due to the timing of the capital expenditure. And debt levels remain unchanged, with 26 million in planned repayments, reducing borrowings to 19.5 million by year end. Most of these repayments were already completed by the end of April. Council continues to perform strongly against the Department of Local Government's financial sustainability measures, with all key indicators remaining within target ranges, except for the asset sustainability ratio in the current year, with the lower ratio reflecting, as I said in the earlier report, just a higher proportion of new and upgrade projects relative to renewal works in the current year program. Importantly, the 5-year outlook for this ratio remains within the benchmark levels, and that just demonstrates that Council's renewing its existing assets at an appropriate rate or level. So in closing, the recommendation is that Central Highlands Regional Council adopt the amendments to the 2025-26 budget as outlined in Budget Review 3 and attachments 1 to 9, and note that rates and charges remain unchanged as set at the annual budget meeting on the 18th of June 2025. Thank you, councillors, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Good. Thank you very much. Handing over now to Councillor Wilkins.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just no questions, just really further to Councillor Whiteman's comments. I think, you know, our finances are looking very good, and you know, the result of paying those borrowings early has reduced our interest payments quite dramatically, I feel. Is that right? Yep. And so, you know, just everything is looking really good. We still have the asset sustainability ratio that we're working on, no doubt. But anyway, it's all good. Thank you. I think it's great. Good job.
Thank you very much. Councillors, any other comments or questions? Councillor Newman.
Through the chair, I'd just like to acknowledge the huge workload that the finance team has committed towards our long-term financial planning and our budget and pre-budget planning. So I'd like to acknowledge just how busy that team has been, and thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
Very good. Thank you very much. And just a couple of comments there, just to ensure that we're reiterating that at the end of BR3, the operating surplus has decreased and is still holding at around that $9.031 million. So we still have a healthy surplus. And again, with the overall decrease in the expenditure budget, it is informed by the $12.298 million reduction in our capital works expenditure, particularly the most significant there. So again, I'd like to reiterate everything that the councillors have said, and thank you very much for another comprehensive report, and again, a very thorough process that we go through with our budget review. So thank you very much to all the staff that are involved and councillors for your thoroughness with the report. So thank you very much. We have a mover and a seconder, so I'll read out the recommendation. Is that the Central Highlands Regional Council 1, in accordance with section 169 and 170 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, amends the 2025-26 budget to incorporate the Budget Review 3 or BR3 amendments in the following documents. A statement of comprehensive income 2025-26 to 2027-28. B, statement of financial position 2025-26 to 2027-28. C, statement of cash flows 2025-26 to 2027-28. D, statement of changes in equity 2025-26 to 2027-28. E, long-term financial plan 2025-26 to 2034-35. F, measurements of financial sustainability 2025-26 to 2034-35. G, estimated business activity statements 2025-26 to 2027-28. H, total value of the change in rates and charges expressed as a percentage. And I, capital expenditure budget by program 2025-26 to 2027-28. And 2, notes that rates and charges can only be decided at the annual budget meeting for the relevant financial year, in brackets, which occurred on the 18th of June 2025, close brackets. Accordingly, Council's adopted revenue statement and revenue policy will not be amended as part of the adoption of Budget Review 3. So we have a mover and a seconder, so all those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Moving on now to item 12.2.3, the response to Valuer General 2027 Land Valuation Program. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Burns, seconder. Councillor Newman. Thank you very much. And handing back over to Manager Finance, Helen Kirby. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report seeks Council's endorsement of a response to the Valuer General regarding the proposed inclusion of the Central Highlands Regional Council area in the 2027 Land Valuation Program. If included, new land valuations for the region would take effect from the 30th of June 2027 and be used for the 2027-28 rating year. Council has historically been part of a 3-year valuation cycle, with valuations completed in the 2018, 2021 and 2024 programs. So inclusion in 2027 would be consistent with that approach. In principle, officers support inclusion in the 2027 revaluation program. However, there are some important considerations. Council has recently undertaken a significant rating review, which has reduced reliance on rate capping, with only a small number of properties expected to remain in transition through to the 30th of June 2027. A revaluation at that time may extend capping for those remaining properties and delay their full transition under the new rating framework. We also do not yet have clear visibility of market movements since the 2024 valuation, particularly where there would be meaningful changes across specific rating categories. Given these factors, further engagement with the Valuer General is recommended to better understand expected valuation movements, sector impacts and potential interaction with the existing rate capping transition arrangements. This will allow Council to fully assess whether a 2027 revaluation delivers beneficial outcomes. It is important to note that while Council does provide feedback as part of the standard consultation process, the final decision as to whether a valuation will take place does rest with the Valuer General. In closing, the recommendation presented seeks to balance alignment with the standard valuation cycle while also ensuring that Council fully understands the impacts. So accordingly, the recommendation is that Central Highlands Regional Council advise the Valuer General that it supports inclusion of the local government area in the 2027 revaluation program, subject to further consultation, and request further consultation with the Valuer General to better understand expected valuation movements and potential impacts prior to the final decision. Thank you, councillors, and happy to take questions.
Good. Thank you very much. Councillor Burns.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, we always get a bit worried whenever this comes up, but we try and do it every 3 or so years, and it lessens the shock, I think. So it's always good to not to ignore them. So thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Councillor Whiteman.
Yeah, very much the same vein as what I was going to say. It's a double-edged sword. We're just at the point where we're nearly got everybody back onto the rate in the dollar, and a valuation comes along, and it happens every time. And the issue is that if there is significant valuation movement, then the more often you have a reval, the less the shock is each time. It can be quite shocking if you leave it too long. So,
thank you, Councillor. Councillor Donaldson.
Through the chair, just I've noted the letter dated on the 15th of April 26 that they wanted a response by the 15th of May. Now it's the 20th of May. Does that have any effect?
Just through the chair, so we have actually contacted the Valuer General and we've received an extension until this Friday on the basis that council wasn't meeting until today.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Councillor Wilkins.
Yeah, I support everything the previous councillors have said. I think if it goes any longer than 3 years, it'll be dire. But the thing is, it's also worth noting that movement can go either way too. So movement can decrease as well as increase. Let's hope for a decrease.
Thank you very much. And just before I hand back over to Councillor Burns, absolutely, it's important for us to keep to that regular cycle to have our valuations. And I just wanted to thank the staff also. Council have worked very hard with our rating review project, which this council did when we came in, to make sure that we're having a good look at our rating methodology and moving people off the capping to our ratepayers to the rate in the dollar. So I did want to say thank you very much. Not only are we advising that this council does support another revaluation program, that it's timely, that you've also requested that we have that further consultation with the Valuer General to really understand I guess, the associated impacts, particularly relation to our existing rating capping transition arrangements as part of our rating review project. So I want to say thank you for adding that on the resolution. Now, Councillor Burns, have I gone back to you? So
No further comments. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much for reading the recommendation. I don't have to do that again, but you've done that, so thank you very much. So we have a mover and a seconder, so all those in favour of the resolution? Unanimous as well. Thank you very much. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Very good. Moving on now to item 12.4, which is the Chief Executive Officer area. So item 12.4.1, recruitment of Chief Executive Officer. So I'm handing over now to our Acting Chief Executive Officer, Graham Kanofsky.
Thank you. What this report proposes to do is establish a robust process for the appointment of the permanent CEO. There is a guideline that the government produces to help councillors along this journey, and that has been reproduced in this report for your attention. So in accordance with that process, the recommendation is that council appoint 5 people, 4 of them being councillors and 1 independent person to the recruitment panel, but bearing in mind at the end of the process, the shortlisted applicants are interviewed by the whole of council.
Very good. Thank you very much. So, councillors, moving to the first part of the resolution, which Councillor Cruz.
Sorry, just probably before through yourself, Madam Mayor, before we get to that process, I was just going to can I ask a question about point 5?
Point 5.
If you don't mind.
Yes, please do.
My concern is, like, obviously that 3 is optimal. If we have a reduced pool of applicants who are very worthy candidates and we only have 2, what is to be done there?
Yeah, that would, the panel would report that to the council, and then the council would determine that, okay, we'll only talk to 2 people, or whatever the result of the panel recommendation is. Okay,
no worries. So it doesn't, I was just concerned that it was going to be in a resolution, and if we were to come if we were to report back, it's still not what the resolution says. So that's what I was just...
to bring 3. But the intention is to bring 3.
Yes.
Because that's in accordance with the best practice. And we just need to face that consequence and report on it in a clear and unambiguous way if that is the result.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, and great question, whether the resolution's locking you in, and thank you. Very good. I think that there's two parts to probably looking at, there is two parts to looking at the recruitment and shortlist selection panel. So I think the recommendation, so there's 5 positions are recommended on the panel. So the recommendation is that there be 4 councillors and an external person. So with that resolution, the recommendation is of the 4 councillors that 2 of those positions be awarded, if you like, to the mayor and the deputy mayor, which leaves 2 vacant councillor positions. So I think that that's our first step, is to, I should be going like that, should be to call for nominations from our councillors as to who would like to be in those 2 positions as part of our selection and shortlist, recruitment and shortlist selection panel. So I think that, Acting CEO, did you want to suggest a process, or you're
No,
happy?
I'm comfortable with, it's your decision as to how you approach it. Just be mindful of the gender equity issue in the selection, in selecting a selection panel.
Yep, very good. Thank you. And usually in this situation, that I haven't called for nominations, but if there's usually more than say in this case, more councillors than the 2 positions, then we usually do a little bit of a ballot. But can I hand over to yourself, Danielle, to guide us through? Do you want me to call?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Or you're going to outline the process?
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
What we would recommend is that we call for nominations, and if there are more nominations than the 2 vacant positions, that we adjourn the meeting as a procedural motion so that we can provide guidance on that ballot process, and we would be able to do that through a ballot process.
Okay. Very good. Councillor Wilkins.
Just a question. So as far as the gender equity, pretty much the external person, the number of people who we... Sorry.
No reason why.
Sorry, Councillor Wilkins.
Sorry. So the external person, pretty much everyone that was suggested was male. So if we're going to have... it's going to be 3-2 or 2-3 of whichever gender. So are you suggesting that, because we don't know who the external person is, that you want 2 male councillors? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, not at all. You only need 1 person to be of the opposite sex. So there is no reason why. And if you decided on 2 female councillors, that would mean that the independent person would have to be a male to meet your gender equity.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was just going to, for this section of doing the voting, of calling for nominations, I think we'll do that, but usually we don't adjourn. We usually just go through the process if you guys are happy to do that. Councillors? Yep, if you're happy to do that.
Yeah, that would be fine, Madam Mayor. So I guess we would now call for nominations, and if
Correct.
we do have more than the 2 nominations, we can go through that ballot process.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, councillors, for the 2 positions, if you would like to put your hand up, if you would like to nominate for those two positions on the recruitment and shortlist selection panel? Councillors? Very good. So we have Councillor Wilkins, Councillor Hindmarsh and Councillor Cruz. No other councillor? And Councillor Whiteman? No other councillors? Very good. So we have 4 councillors nominating for the 2 positions. So I'd just like to give the councillors a quick opportunity to speak to why they would like to be on the panel. So starting from our left, Councillor Wilkins.
Thank you. I was just going to say I'm very much in touch with my masculine side, so I feel like there's that gender equity there. But on a serious note, I feel like I am, I've been an employer, so I do understand the employment process and what to look for. I also add to a bit more diversity. I come from a community background. I'm also as I said, a small business owner, a veterinarian, a teacher, so I've got multiple hats, and I can provide and also, if you go further back, I'm also an immigrant, so I've got also, quite a different aspect or way of looking at things, and I think it's quite a broad outlook. So that's why I feel I would be able to, facilitate being on the recruitment panel.
Good. Thank you, Councillor Wilkins. Councillor Hindmarsh.
Through the chair, this is an important process, vitally important for this council. I'd like to be part of the process purely for continuity and to put my opinions forward.
Good. Thank you, Councillor Hindmarsh. Councillor Cruz.
Through the chair, no justification other than my intent is for a good outcome.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Councillor Whiteman.
In a lot of respects, the decision on our next permanent CEO is the most important decision that a council can make, and I would like to offer my assistance in that. I have experience in both corporate and private business, but local government is also a different beast. I want to be involved in the selection of the next CEO.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you, councillors. Now we'll proceed with...
Yeah, Marnie's prepared here.
Marnie's, yeah.
We'll now allow everybody to write down their two choices for the 2 vacant positions, and then we'll be able to count that ballot.
Okay, thank you very much.
read them out?
Councillor Wilkins, Councillor Whiteman. Councillor Wilkins, Councillor Whiteman. Councillor Whiteman, Councillor Wilkins. Councillor Cruz, Councillor Hindmarsh. Councillor Wilkins, Councillor Whiteman. Councillor Hindmarsh, Councillor Cruz. Councillor Cruz, Councillor Hindmarsh. Councillor Whiteman, Councillor Cruz. Councillor Cruz, Councillor Hindmarsh. And that's it. Do you want me to read those?
Yeah, back up
Yeah.
there.
Yep. Yeah, just to, the result of that process is that there are 2 councillors who received 5 votes, 2 who received 4 votes each, and the councillors that received 5 votes were Councillor Cruz and Councillor Whiteman. So if that's the case, we could add those now into that resolution.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, yep, okay. Very good, councillors. So we've done part A of the selection panel, and now it's moving to the external member of that, the panel. At this stage, we don't have that person selected, so I would like to propose a change to part 2 of the resolution, that we authorises the recruitment and shortlist selection panel to select the external, is it member, external person, I think they, or panel member,
Following the process in 2.
I was going to say that the inclusion of the recruitment and shortlist selection panel select the external panel member and to assess the quotes submitted under the rest of that wording in that part 2, or we can have a part 2 that's different and we change part 2 to part 3.
Yeah, the issue that you may come across, you may, as part of the selection process of the recruitment firm, it might give you an obvious answer to that. So I would suggest that the 4 councillors that are nominated in the resolution would then carry would undertake part 2 to get to the recruitment, and then following that the independent person be named.
Okay, so have a new 3?
Yeah, just, no, in part 1 where you get to the independent person, say that
Yep,
following the process identified in item 2, that person be then nominated.
go at that. Okay, so, Councillor Cruz.
Through the chair, just
Yeah.
I guess for a little bit more clarification, is it identified by council or identified by the panel?
Identified by the panel.
Perhaps if we put identified
Yeah.
by the panel in there, it's sort of
Yeah.
not it's a little less ambiguous.
Yeah.
No, number 2. Yep, it mentions that the recruitment and shortlist selection panel so it says following the process identified in part 2, and in part 2 it says recruitment and shortlist selection panel. Is that what you're saying?
Part 2 is about picking the consultant to undertake the process for you.
That's right. No, I understand that, but I thought Councillor Cruz was saying that the external member is to be identified as part of following the process of 2, which mentions recruitment and shortlist panel. Was that your question?
However, the recruitment and shortlist panel is 5 people. So that's what yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But all point 2 is doing is picking the consultant to do the job, and then after you pick the consultant to do the job, you then appoint an independent person.
Could I offer a suggestion?
Yeah.
Can we change part 2
Yeah.
instead of recruitment and shortlist panel to be councillors on the recruitment and shortlist panel, and that would clarify who is to select that part. And then if we could add a part 3 that said that the councillors on the recruitment and shortlist panel select the 5th member, if that would clarify, if that was the council's will anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Councillor Cruz. Thank you.
Through the chair, that was the point I was going to make. It needs to be the councillor members on the panel, and I think it just could be replicated on the external member there to be identified by the council members of the panel. And I think.
Okay. Well, I'll see if I can get this resolution wording right.
You're right. The sort of members of the panel. Yep, that's right.
Could we?
Do you want to read that?
Councillor Newman.
To simplify it, could we do external member to be identified by the aforementioned council panel in part 1?
Would you like to
And then leave part 2 as it stands?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no, you can read it. You've got it in front of you. I'll struggle.
Okay.
I think the issue with that is that part 2 has to happen first. We have to select the external executive recruitment to then select the 5th person. Yeah.
I would have thought we select the 5th person, then go to selecting the shortlist. Do the first shortlist.
It's 6 to 1, half a dozen
Okay,
the
other way
because,
around. I'm happy with consensus.
well, the issue is that if we select an organisation to assist us with the recruitment, they may have somebody who is very talented in this space.
Okay.
And that would then instruct us on who the 5th person was.
Right. Whereas I thought the councillors had the opportunity to choose the 5th person, but okay. Yeah, right. Okay, if we're happy with that wording, we will go forth.
Am I right? The way that it's worded at the moment, it doesn't lock us down to somebody from that executive recruitment, does it?
Oh, no.
No. So we can still select if if it's more appropriate, we can still select somebody from outside, but it allows us to select from inside that organisation as well. Awesome. That's
Okay. Good. Very good, very good, very good. Okay, you want me to read that, Marnie, or you can see it better? If you want to increase that size up there, I can read it. You want me to do it? Okay. Here we go. The resolution is that the Central Highlands Regional Council, 1, appoints the following persons to a recruitment and shortlist selection panel to undertake the recruitment and selection process in accordance with the Queensland State Government Councillor Toolkit Recruitment and Performance Oversight of the CEO Module 2. The panel are the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Rachel Cruz, Councillor Christopher Whiteman, and 5, external member, in brackets, to be identified by the councillor members of the recruitment and shortlist selection panel, close brackets, following the process identified in part 2 of the resolution. 2, authorises the councillors appointed to the recruitment and shortlist selection panel to assess quotes submitted under RFQ 260077, Chief Executive Officer, Executive Recruitment, and make a recommendation as to its preferred quote to the acting Chief Executive Officer to engage that firm. And 3, requires that a workshop be facilitated by executive recruitment firm to prepare councillors for the recruitment and selection process. 4, requires the recruitment and shortlist selection panel to facilitate consultation with the whole council in establishing the selection criteria and finalising the position description and the terms of the employment contract prior to advertising the position. And 4, requires the recruitment and shortlist selection panel to submit a shortlist to council at the earliest practicable opportunity of no less than 3 suitable candidates for interview by the whole council. And I just realised, I forgot to get a mover and a seconder for this one, but anyway, that's where we're at. So I've read out the recommendation. Thank you very much for everyone's contribution. So can I have a mover? Councillor Newman, and seconder Councillor Donaldson. I think we've had probably enough comments. If I think we've done that. Okay, so all those in favour? Unanimous? Motion carried. Thank you very much, councillors. Yes, okie dokie. I know that we've only got a couple more things to get through, but they could require some discussion. So councillors, we might adjourn for a bit of morning tea. And staff, thank you very much for your patience and thank you very much for your assistance. So we will be back in quarter past? Up to me. Councillors, how long would you like? 4 hours, okay. So we'll come back at quarter past. How's that sound? A nice refreshment break. Thank you very much. Thank you, councillors, and thank you to our online viewers as well. Thank you. Welcome back, councillors. Thank you very much. Now we're moving on to our section 14, information reports. And we've got 14.1, which is communities. So this item number is 14.1.4, recording of proceedings, Central Highlands Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee planning meeting, 8th of May 2026. So can I have a mover? Councillor Wilkins. Seconder, Councillor Burns. Thank you very much. And handing over now to our Director Communities, Carolyn Knudsen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through the Chair, the Central Highlands Arts and Culture Advisory Committee is established to encourage participation and optimising service delivery of Council's communities, particularly regarding the areas of arts, culture and heritage programs, projects and activities. The committee is comprised of committee members, councillors and a council officer. It is considered best practice to present the CHRC meeting records of proceedings to Council as soon as possible after the meeting, with the next meeting of CHRC scheduled for Friday the 12th of June. This report presents the record of proceedings for the CHRC planning meeting held on the 8th of May, and it covers updates in relation to Council's art galleries, projects and RADF program. I now hand back to the Chair.
Thank you very much. Councillor Wilkins.
Thank you. As usual, I love this group, the committee, being on the committee here. So before I forget, I'd just like to thank Lehigh Duncan, who's the Manager of Culture, Arts and Regional Engagement, who has now left. He was very open to a lot of my suggestions and stuff. And so I think a lot of stuff happened under his watch, and yeah, I'm deeply grateful for his support and everything. But anyway, the CHRC group, as Director of Communities has said, there's a lot of stuff going on with council project update, council projects, RADF program and galleries updates through this meeting. Yeah, and the one thing that I am really happy about that's come out of it is that the CHRC group are going to provide a flyer with all the events that are going to happen through Art Attack. So hopefully we won't get too much negative feedback from the community about what's going on when it should be all available in as many places as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillors, any other comments or questions? I do have one question, and probably both of you can answer me. What are the dates for the Art Attack timeframe?
Yeah, so it started off as Arts Around August, or Arts in August, and then that got too full, so it's Arts Around August, and then became Art Attack, so it's from the 1st of July to the 30th of September. Awesome. So July, August, September generally, yep.
Oh, awesome. Yep. That's great. If there's so many events and happenings that it has to be extended out for 2 months rather than one, that's wonderful. Or 3 months rather than one. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. No other comments or questions, councillors? So we're back to you, Councillor Wilkins.
Yes, also one of the things is that we'd like, or the group would like to promote, if anyone is putting anything on in that time, to contact council, and it will be put on the calendar for that time as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. We have a mover and a seconder, so I'll read the resolution. Or recommendation is that the Central Highlands Regional Council receives the recording of proceedings from the Central Highlands Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee meeting held on the 8th of May 2026. So all those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion carried. Thank you. on now to section 14.3 operations. So the item is 14.3.1 state of assets. Can I have a mover, please, councillors? Councillor Newman, seconder. Councillor Donaldson, thank you very much. Handing over now to Manager, Project Management Office, Kim Downey, to lead us through this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning, all councillors. The purpose of the report today is to provide you with an update as to the state of council's assets as at 30 June 2025. This report provides a summary of both the condition and consumption ratio for each asset grouping based on the data available 30 June 2025. So it does not include, the outcomes don't include any projects proposed or delivered in the 25-26 financial year. It is an update on the report previously provided in May last year. And just noting it varies slightly from previous versions in that there's been some movement of assets between asset management groups following the organisational realignment. Some assets were in one place, they're now in a different group. So an example of that is splitting what used to be Parks and Recreation Asset Management Group is now split between Parks and Open Space ownership and Facilities and Recreation ownership. So there isn't necessarily a direct line across the years for all asset management groups. Just in summary, at June 2025, the total value of council's depreciable assets was more than $2.39 billion. Of this total, 57% is considered to be in a good condition, 35% is in a fair condition. 203 million of our assets are considered to be in a poor condition. The asset consumption ratio at 30 June 2025 was 56.6%, which is a 2% decrease from this time, well, from June 2024. So, any questions on any of that?
Over to Councillor Newman first to respond. Thank you.
Through the chair, the asset manage. The asset management is an important part of council's role, and I am aware that we are currently doing less in new asset management, but I understand the depreciation. The figures probably are a bit scary to the public when they see that depreciation figure. So we are being responsible in our asset management, and with our budget declining budget, we are actually using that to do very well thought out asset management planning for and future planning for our assets. So while those figures might look a bit scary for the public, we are actually doing quite well in continuing to address that need as we can.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Donaldson.
Through the chair. I've just been going through this a little bit. And I'd just like to point out some things. I was a little bit distressed actually to some of the condition of our poor assets in a poor condition. For example, I'd be here for a week to explain it all, but I just pulled out that sort of stood out to me. The office, the office furniture and fittings had a 56% poor rating, but the value of that was about 5.7 million. The one that really scary to me was that state of the assets of the fleet. About 68% of the fleet. You have to remind me this is from last year, so it may have improved quite a lot this year, hopefully. 68% was of poor, have a rating of poor, but it had a value of about 59.6 million, and the residual, that's the value of the asset, the residual value of about 16.2 million. So if you went and sold them assets, you get 16.2. If you had to buy new ones, so there's a bit of a huge shortfall. Of that fleet, the trucks were 86% of the trucks in the fleet had a rating of poor. And the yellow fleet, which is the greatest doses, that sort of stuff, had a 60% rating as poor, as at the 30th of the 5th, or the 6th, sorry, of last year. As a result, I think of this, another one that stood out was the rural road network of the unsealed roads. So I sort of did a bit of mathematics. Of the rural road network, 35% of the rural roads were rated as in poor condition. That works out to be about over 1,000 kilometres of our road network of the rural roads. That also goes into our urban roads. It's about 35% also. And there's about 400 kilometres of urban road, but that comes back at about 116 kilometres of our unsealed roads in the urban area rated in a poor asset, which is, to me, I think we are coming up with a plan to address all this. So it'll be good when that plan comes out, because it sort of stands out a bit. It's a bit shocking to me. And when you drive around, you can actually see that in the community. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Wilkins?
So according to our financial report, the actual asset sustainability ratio is actually dropping to 46.9%. So is that still largely the fleet, or is that other stuff like the, water treatment plants and things like that?
Through the Chair, Councillor Wilkins, I can't actually comment on details out of an overall summarising financial report. That is, the figures there are calculated on a monthly basis, depending on spends throughout the year. This is where we were at 30 June 2025.
Right, so a year ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so so this was April this year. I'm just concerned, like if it's still the fleet, I'm sort of okay with that, but if it's, something like a water treatment plant that's taking it down that much, it'd be nice to know.
Thank you. Councillor Cruz?
Through the Chair, probably following on from Councillor Donaldson's comments around fleet, I think it should also be noted about that 3-year program, so our 25-26, 26-27 and 27-28, and the substantial amounts with renewal. So obviously we're 12 months down the track, so once we get this report next year, we'll just see a discernible difference. And I think it's also worth noting that potentially in upcoming operational plans, there'll be further strategies around roads, road networks and so forth, so that does in part go towards addressing those issues.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Whiteman?
Through the Chair, for the many tens of thousands of people who view us on the YouTube channel, and the thousands of Central Highlands residents, It's important to note that depreciation in the local government sense is significantly different from the depreciation that people are used to in a business sense. I can surge forward and butcher it, or would you like to just give a brief comparison of the differences between them? I'm happy to go though.
I'm sorry, Councillor Whiteman, the difference between local government depreciation
and the depreciation that people recognise in their own businesses, where a cost of an asset is recorded back against their taxation, whereas for us depreciation is more about putting money forward in holding for future cost.
Councillor,
Yeah.
I'll probably just jump in. We'll probably take that on notice, and probably a position that
Right,
the Manager of Finance could probably better answer than Manager of Strategic Asset Management.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Maybe we could do it for a future meeting. I think it would just give people a good understanding of the differences, though, that it is significantly different in the way we use the same word, but it has vastly different meaning in the local government sense. That's all.
Yeah, thank you. We can take that on notice and maybe use that as an opportunity to communicate that to the community too. So thank you. Very good. Before I hand back to Councillor Newman, just a couple of things. I'd just like to point out, perhaps probably more holistically rather than digging into the specific asset classes, but just to say overall that the value of council's depreciative assets is around that $2.4 billion. And when we look at the percentages really, the percentages of good to fair sit at 92% and poor at 9%. And in the report it says, while not all good and fair rated asset components needs immediate replacement. So I think that's a very important statement to make there as well. And I just congratulate council. This is a massive body of work where we're assessing almost $2.4 billion worth of assets that council have. And it's critical that we have these documents and reports in place to make sure that we are translating as needed back to our 10-year or long-term asset management plan, which is also aligned with our 10-year financial management plan. So I just want to reassure that council do have appropriate processes in place and are very diligent with making sure, you know, they're doing their audits and understanding the state of assets and then how we plan going forward. It would be great always to renew, replace and upgrade a lot of our assets, but it is a longer planning process. And that's why we continue to advocate to other levels of government as well, particularly to support us, and why we continue to have our reviews, which we did this financial year. We had a review on our water and wastewater assets pretty well and costings, so, and we'll continue to do that going forward. Thank you, Council. Thank you, staff. Thank you for all the very, very hard work you've done in this space. And handing over now to Councillor Newman. Oh, Councillor Donaldson first, sorry.
Sorry. I was just wondering, with this report, I know it's a huge body of work, is it possible to get it a little bit earlier? So when we're doing the budget,
yeah,
we can make adjustments in the budget where we, to was not to suit our where the money needs to be spent, sort of thing. Is that possible or not really, Kim?
So through the chair, Councillor Donaldson, the intent this year was to have it out by January. Unfortunately, we are transitioning through a process to move all our assets from one place to another, which has had a major impact on the delivery of it. But it should be noted that it is actually just a point in time. It does not go down to the detail of what we are proposing in the future. That is what the full asset management plans are for. So they are actually, we presented those as a 10-year, and they're scheduled to come back in July meeting for the future 10 years, which will actually inform that forward program to that component level.
Thank you. Just with what I said before, I picked a few things out there. I'm not trying to set a negative view of it, because overall it's quite good. I just thought I'd pick out a few small things but some people may ask later or something about it. But as you said, it's only a point in time. It's not an overall. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And greatly appreciate that, Councillor Donaldson, and the staff for helping keep us at that more strategic level as well for our decision making. But well done, because having these reports does help with our budget setting, absolutely, going forward. And the other thing too is not just the assets, but also how we collate some of the information that community are also saying they prioritise for their communities as well. So, and bring that all in together to help inform our decision making with assets, with our budgets. So, great discussion. Thank you. Councillor Newman.
I'll just close. It's a huge body of work. The whole organisation is involved in the management of assets. It's, as the manager rightly said, it's a snapshot in time, and it is something that we are advocating for. The whole organisation plans each year when they submit to our budget to renew and look after their various departments, and we are constantly advocating for those bigger infrastructure projects to try and address that infrastructure cliff that is throughout the entire realm of local government. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you. Okay, I'll read the recommendation. So the recommendation is that the Central Highlands Regional Council notes the outcomes as presented in the State of Assets 30th of June 2025 report. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Moving along now to section 14.4, Central Highlands Development Corporation, and the item number is 14.4.1, Central Highlands Development Corporation Service Level Agreement Update Quarter 1. So, councillors, can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Mover, Councillor Whiteman. Seconder, Councillor Newman. Thank you. Handing over now to Peter Dowling, our Chief Executive Officer, Central Highlands Development Corporation. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, councillors and officers, and a special welcome to our new councillor. And an open invitation. You're more than welcome to head across the road to CHDC or have a briefing at any time. We'd love to give you an update on our organisation. And welcome to Acting CEO Graham Kanofsky as well. Pleased to put the Q3 report forward to Council's consideration. If we look at the first slide, important to note that the operational plan is on track at a high level. You would have had the full detail in the business papers that were attached, so I won't go through the detail of it, just to state that the only thing that's really changed is an event that we postponed, which was set for Q3, that's now going to be in Q4. We had a speaker pull out at that time. I think I reported back to Council on that, so that is a change that is still within the bounds of the financial year, but its delivery is in Q4, so that's probably the only real change there. If we step into the financials, at the high level, the following slides give you the detail, but effectively Council's contribution is underspent to about 16%, and the overall total budget is underspent by 19% at the end of Q3. We've gone through and offered some understanding as to where that lies. Important to note that, as with anything, budgeting takes place probably in the October, November before the actual submission for the financial year ahead. So there's a lot of assumptions and information that we put in budgets that may not play out in reality in actual spend. I won't go into the detail, but councillors, there's detail there on the screen as to where that underspend has occurred. Some of it's a high percentage value, but a low dollar value for your understanding. Again, you can see other areas of underspend. The building's an overspend, but again, 2%, $1,450 is not a lot of money. But importantly, some of those are timing issues and also incremental cost of business issues. So with the lease of the building across the road, we have to make an estimate of what that will be. And then there's the Brisbane All Group CPI that is built into our lease agreement, and we await that outcome every January as to when that will be put onto our lease. The other one that went up quite substantially was a 12.24% increase on our storage shed. So not a lot of dollar value, but interesting how that's gone up quite substantially and wasn't budgeted for at the time. If we look through to the overall area, the operating costs are captured there. I think that top line probably tells you the story there, councillors and officers. The underspend primarily reflects project completions and timing variations. As discussed in the past, we often have a project, for instance, the geo-interpretive signage trails at the Gemfields, where you get a milestone payment from a government that's funding the actual activity. You then have your consultants that you need to pay along the way. We're actually now putting in our final report for that project and haven't received the final payment for it. So that is actually an underspend. Reason being for that particular project is we've actually brought it in under budget, utilising some local contractors and our own team in that particular piece of work. But very much our world is around timing of income and expenditure. That's the slide that gives you a sense of the overall budget position, 19%, 402,951. I will point out that a big chunk of that was an assumption, an allocation that was made at the time for our beef corridors project for $200,000. That didn't eventuate. There was a carryover into this financial year from that particular steering group. We act as the banker for that particular project. If you took that number out, that would be substantially different in that it's half of that particular underspend. Importantly, in the governance space, we had the great opportunity to meet with your good selves, present our budget in the last quarter. Thank you for your ongoing conversation around that, and we look forward to the outcome of Council's budget in the June General Council meeting, or the special meeting in June. We also had the appointments of new directors in our governance, so welcome aboard again. That took place on the 23rd of March. In this quarter, it was actually endorsed through the General Council meeting on the 22nd of April, and we've already had a board meeting on the 28th of April, so it's all happening very quickly, so welcome aboard. Just for the public's understanding, our Mayor was elected our Chair, and our Deputy Mayor was elected our Deputy Chair, so congratulations. One of our project areas is called Frontier CQ, Innovation Roadmap. We're now stepping into the organic delivery of that through team members. We had our inaugural meeting of that in that last quarter, and we've had a subsequent meeting in this quarter already, just stepping that through. One of the important pieces to that, that innovation roadmap is the database that we use. There's a product called PlaceLink that our consultant was piloting through our project, and we've had ongoing discussion with how that can be best used for our region. It is a startup pilot project, that piece of technology itself, and we presented that to our group in the May meeting to give them a sense of what does that entail. This is a wonderful project, and credit to our Visitor Economy Coordinator, Roger John, and the team out of the Gemfields who he used as support networks to bring this to fruition. So stepping back, Council auspiced CHDC to undertake this piece of work through our funding arrangement with the state government. So that is now complete. There's over 50 signs that are authentically refreshed and revitalised and rebranded out in the field. So really pleased with that piece of work. What came with that as well was the ability to upgrade our website, our Central Queensland Highlands website, so that's our external facing website for visitation, to tell that story as well, to give them access to it so that it can be a bit of a driver for planning to come into region. Another key project which Council and officers would have dealt with yesterday in the strategy and briefing day is in our workforce development and accommodation strategy. The bottom dot point was very relevant with two proponents coming here yesterday and putting forward their case around the Building Early Education Fund at the federal government level. A lot of work has gone into this whole strategy and in particular supporting those three proponents through their opportunity to access some really critical funding for our region. If we can assist Council any further to meet those tight deadlines, please let us know. It's really important that we hit those tight deadlines for the benefit of the projects in our region going forward. So thank you for the discussion yesterday. The top one's really important because we made an application to Workforce Connect Fund, which is state government funding. We looked at some of the solutions that are required in the early childhood education and care space. Grow Your Own is a very important part of that element, as is the family daycare. And the Grow Your Own, in that particular instance, is looking to bring in some trainers and build them from within region. You may recall that yesterday Jenny Finlay from Barilla Community Kindergarten spoke about Lorraine as being a trainer in region. We'd love to get more of those trainers in region so we can build our own capacity in region as well. Just going through the events, we've had some really great take-up of our informal business networking. They're usually a once a month event, and it's just an informal opportunity for business to get together. There's no agendas set. Feedback from our engagement with community and our business community often directs us as to what we chase in terms of bringing courses or professional development into region, so we can build the capacity of our small business and medium enterprises. This is a good example. Microsoft workshops, we've held them for the last few years. They do attract a good audience from our our business community at large. This was a whole week's worth of coursework around the various Microsoft products. So a really valuable way of trying to enhance capability. Just thought we'd give you a sense of the upcoming events. Some of these have played out already, noting the lag time in presentation. Mentoring for Growth was in place last week. Really pleasing to see the take-up out at the Sapphire Gemfields as well as in Emerald and other localities. Our Small Business Month lunch the following day was really well attended, and we thank the Mayor for being there, as well as other councillors. Always great to bring our business community together, sit at a table, share a lunch, and the wonderful stories that the local businesses are able to share with us are really invaluable. Going forward, we've got a couple of really interesting events. The Global Ag Investing Forum, regional visits. So this is an event that's first time in Australia, will take place in Brisbane the week of 10, 11, 12 in June, but they've selected our region to do an in-region visit. And these are with specific ag investors. We don't get to set the tour itself, but we've been working with the Department of Primary Industries to facilitate that in region, and we're hosting a lunch out at one of the sites for that day, and councillors will be invited to that. So if you're available, we'd love to see you there. Detail will be coming through soon. On top of that, our major projects breakfast is set for the 9th of June. That's the postponed event that was in the quarter that we're talking about going forward. So looking at our major projects register is just being released overnight, and that document is a really good piece of work around defining what projects have just been completed, what's been approved, and what's in conceptual stages. And our team there, Rowena Davies, in our research and collateral space, does a lot of work in that to ground truth that information and get it out into that document. So we use that as a basis for setting up some panels of speakers for our major projects breakfast. AgTech 26 is a long-standing event in our region, really promoting that value add to the ag industry. There's a lot of players in all of our industry sectors, and we define, where we play and can add value accordingly. So AgTech is one of those events that kicked off with some great internal workers. Liz Alexander, for those who remember Liz, bless her soul, started that off in 2017 with the CHDC team, and it's a biannual event. And then finally, we have our Farm to Fine Dining event in Brisbane to align with parliamentary sitting dates on the 14th of September. So it's just giving you a sense of what's occurred and what's coming up. I won't go through these in detail, but you can get a good sense in these slides as to the different sort of engagement opportunities undertaken, and these are by no means all of them, but just gives you a sense of some of the engagement taken place over the last quarter. Always love this section, the analytics. So this particular slide is about our websites. So the top one on the left is the CHDC website, and the bottom one is our Central Queensland Highlands website. So there are two dominant portals that we put out into the world, and as you can see, there's some good numbers coming through there. Good increase in the last quarter. Importantly, you can see, say on the CHDC one, we launched our mining and energy capability statement, and that became the most viewed page. And then the Sapphire Gemfields, Carnarvon Gorge and Lake Maribyrn are the most popular sort of viewed pages and searches. That's not unusual. Those natural assets are our foundation for our region, so it's very common that they lead our region with the views and the searches. This is our Facebook presence. So again, we have that two-pronged approach, the CHDC and the Central Queensland Highlands. Again, just defining some strength there around the mining and energy capability statement, and also the CGIA is the Central Highlands Cotton Growers and Irrigators Association Award dinner, so they were well performing on the website, and we had over 1 million viewers, which was a 100% increase on the quarter before for our Facebook page for Central Queensland Highlands. Interesting in that time, some of the draw cards were the Medway Creek rail disaster, Minion Hill, red clawing at Lake Marraboon. So quite a diversity of stories that capture people's interest. Already noted, but the mining and energy capability statement, that was our publication that did go out in the last quarter, over 1.6 thousand views and 200 downloads by 157 users. So really pleasing to get that collateral in the marketplace and that research, and that it comes from the region for the region. It's not done by others. So that's really important for us. Visitation. Obviously, we keep a close eye on visitation through a number of mechanisms, but the fuel crisis has played a significant role in disrupting our visitors. Classically, the staycation is the word that's being used for those that are in metropolitan areas and southern, communities everywhere from southeast Queensland further into New South Wales and Victoria are our traditional drive markets. And due to fuel impacts, we've seen less of that visitation to date. We did notice, and we have noticed in the last couple of weeks, just through anecdotal evidence and conversations with our Visitor Information Centre just this week, that there is a little bit of confidence around and there are more travellers coming through, but they're certainly not to the levels that we've had before. We did a small campaign pre-Easter to try and build what we could over that period of time, because that was when we were hearing of the fuel implications, but we're also out there in the marketplace through Roger's role, in particular, defining what the season was going to look like. The season was going to be a cracker, and there was a lot of really good bookings in place. They were quite full. So there has been that tailing. Indications in some of our briefings was that it could be up to 50% of those bookings would drop off. We haven't got that evidence back as yet, but we will keep monitoring that. I think importantly too, we welcomed Sally Scott. I was in a meeting with the Mayor and others. Sally's the new CEO for Queensland Country Tourism. So the alignment for us, CHDC, up to Queensland Country Tourism, and then to Tourism and Events Queensland at the state level, or if we go industry way, it's the Queensland Tourism Industry Council is the other avenue that we go as our alignment going forward. So we welcomed Sally, and she's really keen to get into region when she can and better understand our region and what we contribute to the broader Queensland country tourism scene. We do deliberate advertising and marketing in the visitation space, and these are some examples of it. I think important to note is that there are some magazines in there. The top left one, we've had some really good wins with getting some of our Channel 7 programs out into region, and that always makes a huge difference. Importantly, with the visitation and the fuel issue, we have aligned through Queensland Country Tourism up to the Queensland Tourism Industry Council for advocacy on that, particularly around visitation for rural regions in Queensland. So that's another path of work that we undertake as well beyond this. We have contributed to, there is some more campaigning coming out from a visitation with Queensland Country going forward, so there'll be more of this presented in the next quarter as well. This is really our final slide. We try to give councillors and officers a sense of the volunteer hours and the numbers coming through our visitor information centres. And they're really critical to what we present in region. They're often our first port of call beyond our local businesses, where they get a smiley, happy face, a lot of stories, a lot of goodwill and passion from our volunteers. I'd like to thank the Mayor and our councillors This week we have National Volunteers Week. We had a wonderful celebration of our volunteers in Emerald on Monday. We had team members heading down to Springshire on Tuesday, and we have a team member heading out to Jaringa today. So we do really love our volunteers. They are the heartbeat of those centres, and they put in some wonderful work for us. Important to note, the picture at the bottom there that's our Visitor Economy Coordinator, Roger John. Roger is retiring, so Roger will be with us till sort of mid-July, but leaves Region this week and will work for us in a flexible work arrangement, and we'll be out in the marketplace looking for a new Visitor Economy Coordinator. So Roger's done wonderful work for just over 3 years with us. And importantly, Glenn, to his left, is retiring as a volunteer after 23 years at the Vic, and his good wife, Jeanette, after 6 years at the Vic. Sorry, the acronyms, but that photo really embodies, the spirit of tourism. So good people leaving us, but they've really served us well. I think that's it, councillors and officers. I'd like to thank you for listening to the presentation, and happy to take any questions as usual.
Very good. Thank you very much. I'll hand over to Councillor Whiteman. Oh, Councillor Hindmarsh. Sorry, but did you move?
Sorry.
Sorry, Councillor Whiteman.
No, I was just going to thank Peter and CHDC for another great report. We need to keep reporting in this space, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Councillor Hindmarsh.
Through the chair, it's a comment, a bit further information regarding, from my point of view, from what I've seen with the effect the fuel has had on the tourism industry. The further west you go, the worse, the greater the effect. To the extent some businesses such as Batuta Pub and small towns like Junda and Stonehenge that outside of council that I have some association with, Batuta Pub, they were fully booked at the beginning of the year for everything. They had a full booking for their tourist season. They lost everything.
Oh.
They lost all their bookings completely. They've still turned up. They've got the doors open, but they're not. Yeah, they'll be closing where they normally close in November. At this point, I'd suggest they're aiming to close quite a bit earlier. It's the effect to those sort of communities, those sort of tourist centres in that part of the world has been massive.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other comments or questions? Councillor Wilkins.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Sorry, Peter, just with the, I like the idea of that, that Microsoft training and stuff like that.
Yes.
So was that just run in Emerald or were other businesses in the region contacted or anything like that?
Yeah, no, we run it for all businesses,
right.
But it's located in Emerald just through necessity of location and site. So we have Thrive Admin Services is a service that's done it for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we open that to all businesses to attend.
Sure, thank you. So there's so there was just small businesses or any size?
Any size.
Okay. So there's at least about 3,000 small businesses in the region. How do you contact them, or it's up to them to contact you to?
Yeah, so we tend to use our external website, direct emails, so as subscriber base for our e-news is fortnightly, so we promote it that way. We also promote it through our Facebook page as well. So we tend to use a lot of those external communication tools to promote, as well as by engagement when we're out and about with our business community.
Okay, and how many subscribers would you have roughly for your e-news?
Roughly, 1,400.
Oh, okay, excellent. Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, councillors, any other comments or questions? No? Just a couple of comments. We were in the Gemfields at our community reference group meeting 2 weeks ago, and we have representatives from all the communities at the Gemfields there. So they were very, very excited and very pleased with the completion of the Sapphire Gemfields geo-interpretive trail signs. So they were absolutely thrilled. So thank you very much. I know that was a project that was in the process for quite a while. So well done, and everyone was very pleased. And also getting it done sort of more or less in the start of the tourist season. So just wanted to pass on those words of gratitude from the locals at the Gemfields.
Thank you.
Yep. And also want to wish Roger Johns all the very best, and thank him working as our visitor economy coordinator for four years.
Just over 3 years, mate.
Just over 3?
Yeah.
Yep. So, but thank you very much. Thank you for a very comprehensive report as well. And over to you, Councillor Whiteman.
No, I have nothing further to add.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Thank you, councillors. So moving on now, we have, I think that's the end of our reports for item 15. Sorry? Sorry. Oh, yes, I better do that. I'm quickly moving on. Sorry. So we have, and I've got to read the resolution, haven't I? I'll find the page again. Very good. So we have a mover and a seconder. So I'll read the resolution, which is that the Central Highlands Regional Council notes the CHDC's quarterly update for the period of 1st of January to the 31st of March 2026 in accordance with the service level agreement between both organisations. We have a mover and a seconder, so all those in favour? Unanimous? Thank you, Marnie. Motion carried. Thank you. Now I can start moving on. Thank you, Peter. Moving on to our section 15, information reports closed session. So there's nil reports. 16, late agenda items, there's nil. 17, notice of motion, nil. And general business, if councillors have any general business. I have one item for general business. The Office of the Independent Assessor has made an adverse finding against myself, requiring pursuant to S150AR1BI of the Act, the respondent make a public apology for the conduct at a general meeting of council open to the public within 60 days of the publication of this decision. Accordingly, I hereby make an unreserved apology for my actions. Thank you. Any other general business items? We move over to any community acknowledgements, councillors. Councillor Burns.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to acknowledge the recent passing of Phil Rooney, or known as Flop to many people, long-term resident him and his wife and children of Emerald. They moved back to their home in Blackall, where they were originally from, but he's just passed recently. So we pass on our condolences to Julie and the family. His daughter worked here for many years as well, so yeah, I'd just like to acknowledge him. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much, Councillor Burns. Councillor Wilkins.
Just like to acknowledge the Comet Show. It was on this weekend, and just to say what an amazing show for such a small community. I always think it's fun going there because it's like the exhibition, but very, very small. But just absolutely engaging, and so many people from around the region attend it. So it's a wonderful event. So thank you, and good, well done, Comet.
Very good, thank you. Any other acknowledgements, councillors? Thank you. I think that brings us to the close of our meeting, but I just wanted to once again like to welcome our new councillor, Amanda Phillip. Welcome to our councillor team, and also just to say thank you to all the candidates for nominating in our recent by-election. So I think that's the end of our meeting for today. So all the best for now, and thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.